You are Locked On Tigers Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Detroit on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Oh, baby, what's going on? Welcome in. It's an exciting live Locked On Tigers Postcast. I am your host, Jake Riepma, at Jake_Riepma on Twitter. And it doesn't have to be pretty. You don't have to draw a picture on the win-loss column. It's a W for the Tigers. 2-1 winners over the defending World Series champion Texas Rangers, and they got out hit. You could make the case they got outplayed, but they made the plays when it mattered the most. And how about Jake Rogers, or Rake Rogers? 2 bombs from him for the 2 Tigers runs, and they start this series off on the right foot with a W. Welcome one, welcome all. Fired up as always to be on the Locked On Tigers Postcast with you here on Locked On Sports Detroit, which is your friendly reminder to subscribe to the YouTube channel, Locked On Sports Detroit, and go ahead and send it to a friend as well. Give us a like on the video, all that good stuff to make the YouTube gods and the algorithm Lord, the Lord algorithm happy so we can continue to reach more and more Tigers fans. Today's show, yeah, it's a winning show. It's a victory for the Detroit Tigers, and it's made possible by Supply House. SupplyHouse.com is the reliable way to get parts fast. Shop for your next plumbing, HVAC, and electrical job, and get fast shipping from coast to coast at supplyhouse.com. And oh yeah, we had Tarik Skubal on the bump today. We'll break down his start, the Jake Rogers breakout game, and the Justin Henry Malloy debut left a little bit to be desired. That's okay. It's the first of many. We'll get back up on the horse, young fella, and we'll see what he can continue to do as he'll DH. I believe AJ Hinch confirmed he'll DH throughout this series. But welcome all. Fired up to be with you as always as we get our comments section going on the YouTube. It's a 2-1 win for the Detroit Tigers. Again, it wasn't pretty, and it was the definition of timely hitting, I guess, and just 2 solo shots is better than 1 solo shot. So the Tigers will take it. They reach 500, back to the 500 mark, and it is June 3rd, Monday, June 3rd, and the Detroit Tigers are 500. Sometimes you got to keep it simple here, and that's what we will do for the next couple of minutes. It feels really, really good for the Tigers to be 500 in the month of June and not totally irrelevant with the season over and the dog days of summer looming. Now, that said, obviously, it's a painful reminder to look at the AL Central standings, so we won't do that in the month of June. We'll just put the blinders on. Tunnel vision, moving ahead. You got a team like the Texas Rangers who you had an identical record coming in as tonight, and you start the series off on the right foot with a victory. Skubal didn't have his best stuff tonight. He did not have a 1-2-3 inning in 6 innings pitch, which is crazy, but it also shows the standard that he has set where 6 innings, 1-run baseball, and we're like, yeah, he really struggled out there tonight. Had to labor through some innings. But let's get to the comment sections. Born Cool is first up with Rake Rogers. Absolutely 2 home runs from Jake Rogers, and he caught a whale of a game as the battery mate to Tarik Skubal. He was framing pitches. Even with Beau Briske there down the stretch, he stole a couple of strikes, even ones that resulted in a strikeout. So all the credit. That's why Rake Rogers is on the thumbnail, on the marquee, if you will. He is our player of the game today. Born Cool says, glad AJ left Beau in there. He had good stuff tonight. Good to see. Yeah, I thought he was taking him out. I believe you're referring to the 2-out double he surrendered in the 9th inning, and I thought for sure he's taking him out. I felt like Ryan Gosling's dad on Remember the Titans when Allen's getting beaten. He just stands up. He's taking Allen out. That's how I felt with Beau Briske. Oh, he's going to take Beau Briske out. And I was just going to yell at my television, leave him in, AJ. Leave him in. He's taking Allen out. Yost, don't you take out my son. Demetrius McNeil says Jake Rogers' 2nd home run in the 8th inning was the play of the game. You wonder where the Tigers go from here. Spencer's in AAA, carries on the disabled list. What's next for tomorrow? Yeah, we'll take it day by day, Demetrius, but very good question. The Tigers not at full strength by any means, but those that were in the lineup made enough plays to punch one in the win column. And the Kerry Carpenter is I think we'll say pleasant news, because it's kind of been back and forth. And I have a whole news section I want to get to. I was going to save that to the very end because there was a couple other news items I wanted to get to. But glad to see Kerry Carpenter not on the 60-day DL as of yet. And with the Spencer Torkelson stuff, again, this is what we talked about. We've talked about it on the postcast at length, and I still am of the belief that it was time. And you certainly can't make any, conclusion after just one game, the Tigers didn't have Spencer Torkelson, that's why they won. That's not at all what I'm saying. Just point being, I think it was time, and the course of a long season, send him down, let him get his confidence back, let him just reset. Hopefully it leads to a totally new Spencer Torkelson. Obviously that's the hope, but time will tell on that. And in the meantime, give Justin Henry Malloy a shot. I know he had a tough debut, and he would have liked to have better at bats, but 0 for 3 on the day. That said, it's the first of a couple of games where he'll have a chance to string some at bats together, like AJ Hinch said. Adam Collum in the comments. Let's go Tigers. Jake Rogers was a nice unexpected surprise. Not gonna lie, I got nervous when Tarik gave up that first inning homer. Yeah, I was nervous too. I talked some smack to some Texas Rangers people today, saying Tarik Skubal is going to dominate, lights out, and the first batter he gives up a home run. And I had to send out some text. Well, that's what I get for running my mouth. However, then very quickly Tarik Skubal showed up in a big way and was his usual self out on the mound. Although, like I said, he did not have a 1-2-3 inning, so he wasn't dominant, but he made some pitches. I mean, to get out of some jams, which we'll talk about here as well. All right. Adam Collins saying he likes having Beau Briske in there over Will Vest. Yeah. Listen, AJ Hinch is going to do the bullpen by committee, where only he knows what's going on as the mad scientist that could possibly determine who's the best guy and what number to punch. And tonight it was the correct one. So I'll give credit to Beau Briske, credit to AJ Hinch. It was the right move down the stretch, and you didn't need the traditional closer. You had Tarik go 6 and Briske 3 scoreless to slam the door shut and earn the win. So we will take it, because like I mentioned, this feels like a momentum building win for the Tigers in a series against the defending World Series champion at their building, in a part of the calendar where both these teams entered 29 and 30, haven't played their best baseball. So let's go out and steal the first one, which is exactly what the Tigers did. Broder in the comments, what's going on? Beau was filthy tonight. Indeed, he was. Very strange thought I had during the game is a single-digit pitcher, a pitcher wearing a single-digit number, and Beau Briske wears number 4, I believe. Yeah, and it threw me for a loop. I don't know if I'm the only one that's had that thought. I know I'm not breaking down his tremendous outing tonight, where he went 3 scoreless and pitched in a high leverage situation and really preserved this victory for the Tigers. We'll get to that in a minute. But does anybody else find it weird? A single digit relief number on a relief pitcher. It messes with my mind every time. I think Bobby Higginson's up there pitching or something like that. The last time there was somebody wearing number 4 for the Tigers. That's just a little glimpse into my dumb brain though. But Tigers get the win tonight. And you love to see it in a game. They were out hit 8-4. And this is going to be one of those games where I was actually watching some of the Rangers telecast, and they talked about just all the missed opportunities for the Rangers. And that can go, one of 2 ways. You can say, well, the Tigers pitching staff made the pitchers when it mattered the most, but they left 8 guys on. And there was several innings in which you felt like the Rangers were going to break the tie and then maybe even break it open. But that was not the case. Whereas the Tigers offense was completely silent tonight, other than 2 solo home runs to left by Jake Rogers, which looked like they're almost in the exact same spot. I mean, I'm sure it'd be interesting to track if the same fan went home with the souvenir home run ball from Jake Rogers, because that's how close it felt like they were. And like I mentioned, I think it's worth repeating, Jake Rogers called a really, really good game behind the dish. So let's wrap about it. We got 2 more segments coming up. It flies by when the Tigers put together winning baseball. We'll get to a couple more of those comments and then talk about the Jim Leyland news. I wanted to mention that as well. The Tigers will retire his number. We'll get into all that. If you think it's the right thing to do, I've seen some crazy takes on the old Twitter sphere that we'll get into as well. So don't go anywhere. In fact, buckle your seatbelt unless you got to get some popcorn or something, because Locked On Tigers Postcast is just getting started. One segment in the books, 2 to go. Back in a moment on Locked On Tigers Postcast. All right, today's show made possible by my friends at Supply House. Give them a shot at supplyhouse.com. Why? Well, supplyhouse.com is where you can order supplies from the website that's made for the skilled trades. That's right. Takes one to know one. Find thousands of parts from hundreds of brands in just a couple of clicks at supplyhouse.com. Supplyhouse.com gives you 24/7 access to a huge selection of plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with fast delivery anywhere in the U.S. Need help with an order? Get industry-leading supplies with fast delivery everywhere in the U.S. And if you need help with an order, get industry-leading after-sales service from their friendly and knowledgeable customer support team. This is my favorite part. So if you didn't listen, if you tuned me out, tune back in for a second, because you get customer support from a real person. None of that robot. You don't have to scream representative in your phone. No, it's a real person every time. And there's great news for plumbers, technicians, and contractors. Being a pro has its perks. Trade industry professionals can join free Trade Master program with free shipping and serious discounts on every order. Over 100,000 pros already trust the Trade Master program to deliver results. Apply for your membership today and get a competitive edge on every order at supplyhouse.com/TM. Supplyhouse.com/TM. Save money and time when you order online. Order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies from supplyhouse.com. Real people, real service. Tigers win this one 2-1 over the Royals. It's 2 solo home runs from Mr. Jake Rogers, who also called a whale of a game as well. Home runs number 3 and 4 for Mr. Jake Rogers on the season. And this was the type of game that, the Tigers are going to be on wanted posters throughout Arlington for stealing this game. I mean, this was the definition of stealing a game. But hey, we will certainly take it. We got Broder and Cullum going in the comments. I got to be honest, it looks like you guys are having a great conversation. One agrees with another. Important game 1 of a series against a good team. Absolutely. Only one reliever used. All right. I got back to the beginning part of the conversation. Adam Cullum says important, only one reliever used so that the arms are available the rest of the series. Very, very good point. That is awesome. All right, we can all agree stealing a series from the Texas Rangers becomes the goal now after taking the first. Let's go get another one tomorrow. We'll have our next game preview, but I do want to spend some time talking about that Justin Henry Malloy debut. His first at bat in the bigs, he absolutely mashed that ball to center field, just did not quite get out of here. I think it was Evan Petzel for the Detroit Free Press, who does such a great job, tweeted that it would not have been a home run in any ballpark. But again, he barreled up a ball, put a good swing on it. First pitch of his at bat. Okay, here we go. Now, next couple of at bats did not look very good, but I think we all can agree we pump the brakes a little bit, see what the kid has in store for tomorrow. And this was also kind of it was the definition of a pitcher's duel. I mean, you got to give Eovaldi a lot of credit for the Rangers because he had the Tigers off balance the entire night as well. He goes 5 2/3, gives up 3 hits, just the 1 earned run on the solo shot, and struck out 7. He only threw 71 pitches. I was kind of surprised that they had such a quick pull on Eovaldi because, like you mentioned, going to the bullpen and having to use a couple of relievers in the first game. But Nathan Eovaldi just goes the 5 2/3, where Skubal goes 6 innings, 7 hits, 1 run, an earned run, and walked 2 while striking out 6. But that ERA now dips below 2 at 1.97. Awesome stuff there. You absolutely love to see that. The way he got out of the 3rd and the 6th, just brilliant fashion there. And other than that leadoff home run to Semien, he didn't make the big mistake. Again, I think he'll be the first to tell you that he didn't have his A+ stuff tonight, but he didn't make that big mistake that became costly, especially with pitching with as much traffic on the bases that there were. Broder with a good point here. Jake Rogers' framing exploited the crap out of the umpire's wide zone. It did. The Rangers telecast was getting so upset with that. And I understand. The one Tavares struck out on, I think Briske was pitching at that point, and it was later in the game. But that one was pretty egregious. But hey, you take it. That's why you frame them up. So there you go. All right, I wanted to mention the other news around the Detroit Tigers organization earlier today. Jim Leyland will have his number 10 jersey retired. The ceremony will be on August 3rd. And this was a slam dunk, 2 hands in the air, fist bump. Absolutely so glad to see it. Fired up for that. I mean, when I think of the most beloved managers, coaches, whatever it is, in my lifetime, Jim Leyland is at the top of the list for me. My formative years growing up, watching Jim Leyland be the spearhead of the resurgence of baseball in the Motor City, because there hadn't been any relevant baseball played at Comerica Park until Jim Leyland got there. And I know he didn't win the World Series, but my goodness, he put the Tigers back on the map. He made it worth going to the game where they're, and in fact, it's funny, Jeff Rieger from 97 The Ticket called me today, and he never stops calling me. I mean, my goodness. Fortunately, I was driving, so I could talk to and listen to him go on and on for 30 minutes. But we talked about how Jim Leyland got you excited about Tigers baseball again. It was that time in history where every night was can't miss TV with the Detroit Tigers. And it's what you talked about at barbecues, at cookouts with your friends. You had spirited debates, and it wasn't always pro Jim Leyland. I remember, slamming the table. Why is he starting Don Kelly? And then Don Kelly goes out and hits a home run against the Yankees. But Jim Leyland orchestrated the turnaround in the resurgence of a once historic and proud franchise like the Detroit Tigers, and brought them an era in which, I know there was no World Series, but an era that we all could be really proud of. So the nonsense I've seen on Twitter about saying, oh, he doesn't deserve to have his jersey retired because he never won the World Series it's just that. It's nonsense. I disagree wholeheartedly, but let me know what you think in the comments. Jim Leyland jersey retiring ceremony on August 3rd. Skip, Jimmy smokes. And I saw one tweet that said every fan should get a free pack of cigs. I would be on board with that. I think that would be a tremendous giveaway, and it certainly would make the skipper happy, and it would be great publicity. Everybody just smoking darts at Comerica Park. So that said, appreciate everybody's conversation on tonight's episode of Locked On Tigers Postcast. We got Adam Cullum and Broder in the comments. I got to be honest, you guys are so detailed in your responses. I'm trying to multitask here, read the comments while still maintaining a coherent sentence, which is always difficult to do. But I will say, yes, Adam Cullum just saying the home plate umpire was horrible. Completely agree, but I think it played in the Tigers' advantage for the most part. So Tigers get the win tonight. We've got one more segment to wrap it on up. We'll look ahead to tomorrow's pitching matchup for the Tigers, a chance to get the first 2 games of the series because they steal this one 2-1. Back to the 500 mark on June 3rd, 30-30 on the season, 16-15 away from home. And I also got to say, it's nice that that game was played inside, hot and muggy in the Lone Star State today. That said, thanks everybody for tuning in. Don't go anywhere. We're going to look ahead to tomorrow's game and continue to rap about this one and tie a bow on it here on Locked On Tigers Postcast. All right, it's time to tell you about my favorite way to play daily fantasy sports, because it is the best way to play daily fantasy sports. I'm talking about Prize Picks. Prize Picks is real simple. You pick more, you pick less. It's that easy. Prize Picks allows you to play daily fantasy sports with 2 or more players and their projected stat line and a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. They also keep it fresh. They keep it real. Demons and Goblins, one of my favorite little add-ons to the PrizePicks app. Demons, a little bit more difficult to win, but they're going to pay out a little bit more. Goblins are for those who like to be, play it safe and feel better about your chances of winning, but life's too short for the Goblins. Let me just tell you, it's all about the Demons. You can also now win up to 100 times your money with baseball-only lineups on PrizePicks. We all love baseball here. If not, what the heck are you doing here? Just kidding. Stay no matter what. Come one, come all. That's the motto around here. But if you submit a winning lineup featuring 4 Demon squares, you'll cash in big time on the biggest moments of baseball's season. There's always action on PrizePicks, and this is the perfect time to try out something new. As basketball season's winding down, we still got the finals, Mavs and Celtics. Same with the Stanley Cup. But, hey, those dog days of summer are coming quickly. So make sure to try out esports this month, because for every Wednesday and Saturday in June, if your lineup doesn't win, you'll get your entry fee back. Choose from Counter-Strike 2, Call of Duty, League of Legends, and so much more. I hope you can tell how into esports I am. Because with PrizePicks, you could turn $10 into $1,000 in a single game. Watching your favorite sports this summer, you can make a PrizePicks lineup in as little as 60 seconds. If I can do it, you can do it. Trust me, you just need to pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections, and you're locked in on Locked On. How about that, my friends? So don't waste any more time. Download the app today. Use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match. Listen to this, up to $100. Once again, you download the PrizePicks app. Use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. PrizePicks. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. All right, final segment of the show. Like I said, awesome participation tonight. That is so appreciated. I will say, though, the longer the comments, the harder it is for my tiny little brain to multitask and continue to articulate while also reading the sentences. But I do appreciate the interaction from my man Broder and Adam Collin. Adam Collin calling some games for Lansing Catholic. How about that? We love that. Let's go Cougars. All right, Broder, keeping it real at Woodward Sports. As always, tune into them as often as you can. And don't forget about Locked On Tigers as well on the daily with Scott Bentley. We got to love that. I always like hearing his takes on everything, especially when it's a fun win like today. And don't forget about Locked On's first ever national 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube. It's now also available on Amazon Fire TV in the free Fire TV. Bless me. Oh, my goodness. They don't have a cough button in this studio for that one. Hang in there, everybody. On the free TV channels app, Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. Find Locked On Sports Today, now available on the free Fire TV channels app. All right, let's tie a bow on this one. Looking ahead to tomorrow because, hey, after Tarik Skubal, it's Jack Flaherty. That's a pretty nasty 1-2 punch for the opposition. So you feel good about that, especially with how good Flaherty was in his last time out. Dang near had a no-hitter. He went 6 1/3 no-hit baseball his last start against the Boston Red Sox at Fenway Park. And for the Rangers, it'll be Dane Dunning. Kind of an up and down year for the Texas Rangers, but seems like pitchers seem to always get right when it comes to facing the Tigers. Hopefully I didn't just speak that into existence, but Dane Dunning's stats, let me give you his numbers on the year. He spent some time on the DL, if I'm not mistaken, but last time out against the Diamondbacks, 5 innings, 3 hits. And then that's right. His first start back was off of the DL was May 22nd against the Phillies. He went just 3 1/3. So he's only had 2 starts since his stint on the DL. So that said, anytime you got Flaherty going on the mound, you feel good about your chances. All right. Appreciate everybody giving me the bless you in the comments. Yeah. Like I said, I mean, most studios have a little cough button, but the no cough button on this mic. And when we're on video, I'm sorry you guys had to witness that. I am a violent sneezer. It's one of my many flaws. I'm working on it. My goal is by the end of this baseball season to have gotten rid of that violent, nasty sneeze. So don't worry, we will disinfect the studio at the conclusion of tonight's show. But here we go. Tigers win, get back to the 500 mark. Jake Rogers with the 2 home runs, his 3rd and 4th of the season. The Justin Henry Malloy debut, a little bit underwhelming, but that's okay. That's all right. It's a long season, young fella. He's going to get that first hit. We're going to save the baseball, and it's going to be glorious, and it's going to be magnificent. Spencer Torkelson is down to the AAA Toledo ranks with the Mud Hens. And then, as I mentioned, Jim Leland's number will be retired on August 3rd, retiring that number 10 jersey. So that covers just about everything. We'll wrap up real quick. When I saw Tarik Skubal on the mound again today, I just wanted to tell and listen, that's what makes the world go round is different types of opinions or different opinions, but a lot of noise around trading Skubal. This team isn't going anywhere. Get what you can for him. And I just wholeheartedly disagree. This is a homegrown talent that you invest in because this team is not that far away. I do not want to see the perpetual rebuild continue by trading away the best player you've developed in some time. And I know it's always been pitchers. We haven't developed any position players. I know that, but just for the life of me, please, I do not want to hear any more talk of trading Tarik Skubal. In fact, that's what Jeff Rieger and I were yelling at each other today as I was driving down the highway, and he was screaming, "You got to trade him!" And I was saying, "You're crazy, Rieger." And he said, and I also made the comment that I don't really trust Scott Harris to get the King's ransom that trading Tarik Skubal would deserve. So please do not trade Tarik Skubal. I just want that on the record. I saw Tony Garcia, my good buddy from the Free Press, also put that out there. And I think the season is young enough at the 500 mark, June 3rd, that the conversation of trading Tarik Skubal for, again, it would be a King's ransom. You'd get some position players that hopefully could be pieces in the future. I just don't want to see that happen. So that is all we have for tonight. And Righar, I appreciate that. It's IL, my bad. I don't know what I said. That was probably in regards to me messing something up with Dane Dunning, probably injured list. I don't know what I said. IL. Yes, he missed a couple of starts because he went on the injured list. So thank you for always keeping me on my toes while I try to read comments, not sneeze into the microphone, and conduct a show here. So as always, a pleasure to be with you on Locked On Tigers Postcast. Make sure you subscribe to Locked On Sports Detroit. We got to grow those numbers. Otherwise, I'm going to think that I'm no good at this and nobody loves me. But seriously, appreciate everybody tuning in. Tigers get the win 2-1 over the Rangers. They take the first of the 3-game series. Game 2 tomorrow with Jack Flaherty on the mound for the Tigers, Dane Dunning for the Rangers. Detroit now 30-30, 16-15 on the road. The Rangers fall to 29-31. That's going to do it for me. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on Locked On Tigers Postcast. Have a wonderful evening.